Let's talk about Osgood Perkins' new film, Keeper, and Osgood is coming straight up to tell us, I'm making a movie once a year because this is his third film in like 3 years, and he has another film that already started with Nicole Kidman, which we'll talk about that whenever we get more information about it. But this is Keeper, Osgood's surrealist horror film, or as Mr. Eli Roth said, like a surreal David Lynch film, which I still don't wrap my head around what the hell he meant by that. But nonetheless, Tatiana Maslany, who I always love to see, is here as Liz. And Liz and Malcolm is played by Rossif's Sutherland here. Now, Liz and Malcolm are going to head to a secluded cabin for their anniversary weekend. It's going to be great, right? A secluded vacation in a horror film. Yeah, that's not good. Liz, alone after Malcolm, suddenly has to return to the city, right? Like, oh, I forgot something. I need to go back and you can stay here in the creepy house by yourself. Is then approached by an evil entity that will unveil the cabin's secrets. Because yes, you need secrets here. Now, I think that this definitely was Neon being a little bit lazy with the marketing. Because to be honest, I feel like they had a good start with this movie when they first got announced months ago. And then they started to be like, man, I think they'll sell because Osgood Perkins. So we'll see if that works or not. But in comparison to Longlegs, where they were drilling the marketing, and that left some people kind of not happy with the end result. Maybe Neon saw that and they were like, you know what? Let's let people decide for themselves now. And whatever, right? So this is not written by Osgood Perkins, and it's also not based on something. So Osgood, of course, did Longlegs on his own. The Monkey was a short story from Stephen King, and now this is a whole other writer here, Nick Lepard. What the hell did I think about this movie? So definitely think that Osgood is great with the visuals as always. I think he never really has let me down in that regard. Really still love Longlegs. I know a lot of people didn't like it. I'm a little bit in the middle with Monkey. I just was like, it was cool. But other than that, I don't think I would ever watch that movie again. Longlegs, on the other hand, I am for a rewatch. I've watched it twice already, but I would definitely want to rewatch it again. Keeper, let's get into Keeper and what exactly happened here. So, of course, this is the ending explained. If you don't want the ending explained, you came to the wrong video. So make yourself way out of here. So pretty much what is happening here is that, yes, Liz and Malcolm did come to the cabin, but this is not for a romantic getaway at all. This is actually the plot of Malcolm, who is trying to feed Liz to an entity here, an evil one. So the story explains that when Malcolm and his cousin were young, Darren, 200 years ago, because yes, indeed, these guys are over 200 years old, they encountered a pregnant woman that they ultimately killed because they thought that she was intruding, that she was part of some group, and so they killed her. Unbeknownst to them, that she was pregnant with something evil, or maybe a curse was laid on them for killing this woman, and thus maybe she was actually pregnant with something that wasn't evil, but then evil came out of it. And they pleaded and they wanted to get a sort of deal done where if this entity spared them, they would continue to feed it. And this entity decided, you know what, you'll be immortal, eternal, whatever, but you got to keep feeding me women. And these are the women that you see in the trailer, that you see in the film, that come to be fed to this entity. And now Malcolm decides to feed Liz to this entity because he needs to do it. There is sort of like a curse that's put on them where they have to continue to do this. The entity, however, is like, hold up. Did you just bring us somebody who looked like our mother? Because yes, indeed, Liz looks like the mother that pretty much was pregnant with this entity. And so the entity's kind of like, I don't think we're going to do anything to her because she looks like our mom. So the creatures kind of take her in as a mother. Even at a point when Darren wants to kill Liz, they decide to kill Darren instead because they're going to protect Mama and Mama's going to be safe. Eventually leading to the entity deciding, you know what, Malcolm, deal's over, bro. We're done with you. And they take away the blessing, the curse, whatever you want to call it. Malcolm becomes a decrepit old man because he's over 200 years old. He gets hung by his feet. He gets force-fed the chocolate cake he tried to give Liz to make her pass out, which it didn't work. She wasn't able to be drugged. So there's something more to Liz, it seems, here. And we see Liz then dunk his head into the weird juice thing. And that's pretty much how this movie ends. all of the women that you saw throughout that were visions for Liz ultimately were the women that were sacrificed to this entity over time. We saw it as well when the creature showcased itself, and you could see the faces of the women. So all of this pain and the scorn for centuries definitely has been showcased in this creature. And I think that what we're seeing now is that Liz could possibly be a descendant of this woman. She does look like the woman, so that's a big plus there, but I think there's more to it. I think she possibly is a long lost family member to this woman, and that's why the creature maybe sensed and decided to keep her. Now, there is some talk from Tatiana Maslany about what exactly this whole ending meant. And this is what Maslany said. They're sort of like these echoes of other women's experiences in our bodies and in our lives. I don't know what it means that Liz looks like that woman or was that woman. Is she just doomed to be this, or is this like an ending of something for Malcolm? Is she powerful at the end, or is she stuck? That's what I was thinking too in my head. Was she just going to just be possessed by this entity now and doesn't really have her freedom back at all? Malcolm could have just pretty much met his demise as well, but doomed Liz in the end also. But the cycle of abuse and the cycle of this person killing like these unsuspecting and innocent women just for their own gain is done. It's over. These women will probably be okay. I hope, I think, right? They should be. So definitely an interesting premise here. Like I said, Osgood Perkins didn't write this. This is another writer here. And I think that the writing was okay, but I think the visuals definitely are where this movie stands out. So by the end of the film, we find out that Malcolm and his cousin are actually cursed, and they need to keep feeding this creature to become immortal, because when they were young boys, they actually killed the creature's mother, that she was pregnant with this creature, and they killed her because they felt that she was an intruder. This person actually looked like Liz, so when they tried to feed Liz to the creature was like, that's my mama, I'm not going to do anything to you. It basically breaks its contract with Malcolm over this, and Darren kills both of them, and now Liz is possessed by this creature and seemingly is going to be okay. I mean, it's not a happy ending per se, right? I mean, you could kind of see it as the cycle of abuse, the patriarchy, abusing these women over the years and pretty much sacrificing them for their own gain, as we see a lot of times in our society today, especially with women that aren't giving the access to healthcare that they need due to patriarchy or religious views, whatever. And we see that they ultimately get consumed by this creature of sorts. And it's an interesting premise here. There's a lot more to unpack for sure, but I thought that ending truly was great in a way. Kind of is like a very bleak ending when I think about it, but at the end of the day, maybe nobody else is going to get hurt, and that was pretty much what Liz was determined to do by the end of it. Take out Malcolm and make him pay for everything he's done for these last 200 years. I mean, now maybe the creature is going to be fed men that are bad, because Liz does tell Malcolm, this is my cabin now. Something that pretty much set all of these things in motion, right? Because the young Malcolm and Darren ultimately killed that pregnant woman because they were on their property, and now a woman has taken his property. And I think it sort of is a payback of sorts, of course, to these two that have just continued for centuries to get women into these very, very like horrible situations just for their own personal gain. It's kind of crazy to think, right, to sacrifice people just so you can continue to live on, and it's kind of like messed up, right? Malcolm tried to present himself as this gentle doctor that was going to be a nice guy. Ultimately, one of the worst villains we've ever seen, right? That they are willingly sacrificing these women to this entity just so that they can continue to live forever. Very, very messed up indeed. And like I said, it's such a poignant film, I think, especially about women. Now, I myself am not a woman, and I don't know the experience of being a woman, but it definitely feels that Malcolm and Darren had this sort of entitlement that they are owed something, and that women can just be discarded and whatever. He doesn't really care about them, right? Because why did it have to be women, right? It doesn't really ever explain that either, but that's the thing here. He kind of saw it as an easy way to manipulate women in order to use them for his gain. And I mean, we see it a lot with men that definitely do this, where they manipulate women to get what they want, and it's a horrible thing for sure. And I think one that really makes this movie that much more darker when you think about it in that context, that this is about men who just use women, manipulate them, get what they want, and ultimately just discard them, right? And don't even care about them. They get ghosted, but here they get eaten by a creature. And it could get even further into that, but definitely that's a whole other video and analysis. I just wanted to talk about the ending really quick and the premise of the film. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on it down below. Did you enjoy Keeper or not? Make sure you hit the subscribe and notification bell. We're on the road to 50,000 subscribers. Let me know what you think. Is it better when I do videos like this and just get straight to the ending and then just talk about it? Or is it better when we recap the whole movie and have little inserts here and there? Comment below, let me know. I'm trying to figure out how to do these videos a lot better. But I'll see all of you next time. As always, stay safe, stay positive.